Kerala being lynched, being mistaken as a Bangladeshi. So what began as a search for employment ended in an unthinkable tragedy for a young migrant worker from Chhattisgarh. 31-year-old Ram Narayan, a resident of Chhattisgarh, travelled to Kerala in search of work. But this search turned fatal after Ram Narayan was beaten to death by a mob in Palakkad district after being mistaken for a Bangladeshi national. My colleague Arpita joins us on the broadcast with the details. And Arpita, this is extremely concerning. A migrant worker, he travelled to Kerala for work but was lynched. What was the reason? Why did the mob gang up against him? What is the action that has been taken?
Well, Pratibha, it is a very shocking incident. So this has happened in Palakkad when the Chhattisgarh-based migrant worker had come to Kerala in search of work, but few people gathered and they thought he has stolen something while he was going somewhere, and then that is when this group of people confronted him, asking, did you steal something and all of that, and then they started beating him up for that, and they also mistaken him for his identity, thinking that he was a Bangladeshi. And the video is very, very brutal. You can see in the video that how brutally these people are thrashing him, and what led was his death. The postmortem report clearly states that more than 80 bruises are there on his body, severe cuts, head injury, and the postmortem report detail in the postmortem report, the details of the brutality has been clearly mentioned. More than 80 injuries all over his body, and his head was beaten very badly, that because of his head injury he died. Now the police have arrested 5 people in this regard, and police have charged with multiple sections including murder. The investigation now is underway. They will charge more sections is what they said. In fact, police said that they will give the strictest action possible, because these 5 people who lynched him, they did not know who he was. They assumed that this migrant worker was Bangladeshi, and that is why they thrashed him so brutally that it led to his death.
But is there no law and order in Kerala? Because even if they had a suspicion that he was an illegal immigrant, they should have handed him over to the police officials. But this man was thrashed and beaten to death, and that's unacceptable. There are a lot of migrant workers who come to Kerala for work. Arpita, has there been any statement that has come in from the Chief Minister, from the leaders in Kerala on this incident? Because this will be of great concern to many immigrants from across the country who go to Kerala for work.
Yes, sir. So the Congress has rightly questioned that what is the law and order in the state doing, because this is such a big concern. Like you mentioned, there are hundreds and thousands of migrant workers who come to Kerala in search of work. Such an incident has sent shock waves across the state, and Congress is questioning that what was the police doing when this was happening? Why was there no action taken immediately? And now they are questioning the law and order. But yes, what remains to be seen?
Imagine an incident like this in Kerala, where a mob surrounds a man, accuses him of being a Bangladeshi immigrant, an illegal one, and then thrashes him to death. Do stay with us, Arpita. We have activist Rahul Ishwar joining us on the broadcast. And Rahul Ishwar, this is extremely shocking. In the state of Kerala, migrant worker being beaten to death on the suspicion that he is a Bangladeshi immigrant, and no word of condemnation yet that has come in from the Chief Minister.
Absolutely. As a Malayali, as a Keralite, I am ashamed that this happened in my state, which is very educated. People were gathering and saying that he was a Bangladeshi, and his name is Ram Narayan. Ram Narayan is a very poor Hindu worker itself. So unfortunately, he has been accused of wrong things and beaten to death. And the doctor who did the postmortem came out and said there were 80 injuries on his body, and none of his body part was left uninjured. And till now, CM of Kerala, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, has not given a statement, which is appalling and unfortunate. Their family has come down and they have refused to take the body earlier, and adequate compensation should be given. A person was beaten to death. Last time, similarly, an Adivasi or a tribal was beaten to death. His name was Madhu. Sri Virendra Sehwag, Indian cricket star, called me and gave me 1.5 lakh rupees, and I got it to his family. This is absolutely painful, shocking. We as Indians and humans need to be pained and ashamed of it, and some remedial measures need to be taken for that family.
Absolutely, because where is the humanity? It was not one or two individuals. This is a whole gang that ganged up against him, an entire mob turning against one man. There was clearly a language barrier as well, because he couldn't speak or communicate in Malayalam, but he was beaten to death. Rahul Ishwar, thank you for joining us. Activist Brinda Adige is also with us. And Brinda Adige, very, very saddening incident from Kerala. A migrant who had come in search of work just 1 week ago to Kerala being beaten to death.
Absolutely criminal. I will have no other word to say. It is criminal, and they are all, riled up by WhatsApp messages. WhatsApp messages that are talking about intolerance, inciting violence against people who don't speak a certain language, people who don't belong to a certain religion, and this whole enmity and this anger that there are Bangladeshis inside. Of course, spewed and fueled by various politicians who keep talking that Bangladeshis have infiltrated and they have come in over here, and so they need to be thrown out. But who has given them authority to take law into their own hands? Let us assume somebody suspects somebody is a Bangladeshi or a Sri Lankan or a Pakistani for that matter. Is it not their job to go to the police, give that information, and the police to do due diligence? Who the hell gave this responsibility or this kind of power to the thugs who might be operating from a vigilante group? That is absolutely unacceptable. We want the politicians to call out these thugs. We want the politicians and the leaders to say, you have no role to touch another human being, because that is assault, and they must be booked accordingly and put in jail, because many times there's no fear of law. And that fear of law must come in.
Okay, all right. We have activist Adwaita Kal also with us. But before that, let me get you breaking updates now coming in, because the Chief Minister has now taken note of the incident and has assured justice for Ram, saying such acts tarnish the reputation of Kerala. This is unacceptable in a progressive state, saying remain vigilant to avoid such incidents. He says he will ensure justice for Ram Narayan. He was killed in a mob assault. And Adwaita, we saw these visuals where the mob can be seen asking him, where are you from? And he says that he is not able to answer. There could be a language connectivity problem as well. Do stay with us just a moment. We have Mr. KJ Alphonse also on the broadcast with us. And Mr. KJ Alphonse, in a state like Kerala, an incident like this, it's an absolute shocker.
Yeah, this is completely shocking and completely unacceptable. Kerala has about 4 million guest workers. In fact, we call them guest workers. They're generally treated extremely well. This kind of incidents do not generally take place in Kerala at all, because we are highly respectful of people from outside, and they have a very good time. They draw very good wages. In fact, approximately they earn about 1,000 rupees a day. They are provided good housing. Everything is looked after. Something this doesn't generally happen in Kerala. I remember there was an incident last year, a similar incident, but otherwise, where there are 4 million people out there, such incidents don't happen. And generally, Keralites are very, very courteous, polite to guest workers. So this is absolutely shocking, completely unacceptable.
And, Mr. Alphonse, there is a video that shows a mob. It's not just one or two people. There is a whole mob there. Not one stops the other from beating him to death. The Chief Minister has spoken up and he says that strict action will be taken. What do you make of his response to the incident? He says we'll ensure justice for Ram Narayan. But is that enough? Because this is a state that sees a lot of migrants coming in from across the country for work.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they have arrested 6 people, I think, on the same day. But obviously, there are more people involved, as you say, as you've seen in the visual. There was a mob and they were doing nothing. And, of course, these 6 people apparently were the ones who beat him up. But this is just not acceptable at all, especially in a state which claims to be 100% literate, where generally people are very well behaved. So absolutely unacceptable. This kind of thing shouldn't happen. We need much more conscientization through the media, through social media, through networks to ensure that every guest worker is treated properly.
Okay. Okay, all right. In fact, the relatives of Ram Narayan have also spoken up on this unbelievable brutality. Let's listen in.
और बेटा है ना कमाए खा जे रहे मजदूरी से वही कमाते खाते जेखन हमन और पोषण पालन करते तो हमन कहा मत से जेबो तो हमन सरकार से मदद मांगत हन देखा पाटले गिर गया
अरे सायन ओडचो बो गिरून आयत रे
हिंदी भाषा कौन सा भाषा तुम्हारा गांव किधर है बांग्लादेशी
तुम बांग्लादेशी
वो मेरा बहन को लेगा है
Let's go across to my colleague Amita as well, joining us on the broadcast with the details of the opposition leaders who are questioning the Kerala government.
Okay, but first up, Pratibha, taking you through the statement itself, what has been posted by the Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan on Facebook. And as far as his statement is concerned, where he says that justice will be ensured for the family of Narayan, who was killed in a mob assault in Palakkad, and strict action would be taken against the accused. Investigation of a special team led by the Palakkad SP is in progress, and instructions that have been given to take necessary legal action after examining the details of the case, as the government will examine and ensure appropriate compensation as well. And he goes on to further say that such acts tarnish the success of a civilized society like Kerala, and it's never acceptable, and every such incident should not be repeated in such incidents. So here is the Chief Minister there, where he's assuring Pratibha that justice would be ensured to the family as well of Ram Narayan, who was killed in such a brutal manner in Kerala.
Okay, all right. Amita, thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at what happened. A mob is seen asking Ram Narayan, which language do you speak? Are you from Bangladesh? And just moments after that, he was beaten to death.
देखा पाटले गिर गया
अरे सायन ओडचो बो गिरून आयत रे
हिंदी भाषा कौन सा भाषा तुम्हारा गांव किधर है बांग्लादेशी
तुम बांग्लादेशी
वो मेरा बहन को लेगा है देखा पाटले गिर गया
अरे सायन ओडचो बो गिरून आयत रे
हिंदी भाषा कौन सा भाषा तुम्हारा गांव किधर है बांग्लादेशी
तुम बांग्लादेशी
वो मेरा बहन को लेगा है
All right, we're keeping a track of the investigations on that story, but for the moment, we